Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 31,
Wow.
Talking Horses. Keisha Clement, you're back again.
I'm
I feel like
back.
it's deja vu
I
all
was
over again.
supposed to be here today.
You were supposed to be. You weren't supposed to be here. You just
I was
stuck on
not
the
supposed
set,
to be
didn't
here
you?
Yesterday. I got an
Yes.
extra dose of one Mr. Serling.
Yes, 2 days with
Lucky
me. I
me.
mean, what kind of week is it? I mean, really, I don't know what you did in life to deserve this, both positively or negatively. Anyway, I'm Andy Serling, and she's Acacia, as we
I'm
said.
crazy because clearly
And
I enjoy your company.
I
so,
enjoy yours immensely, immensely. And we'll see you tonight because tonight is the
Yeah.
annual benefit dinner for the BCCA, the Belmont Child Care Association. Of course, Anna House down there and
Yep.
Faith's House here, and they are a great charity. There's so many. Tomorrow is the Dunk Tank for Best.
Okay.
I will be appearing in the Dunk Tank at 12:30 tomorrow
And
after
this is
Talking
your
Horses.
last dunk
Yeah,
tank
I'm done. I'm too old for this. I really am. So it's your last chance to dunk me, unless you see me out and you want to dump something on my head. It's happened before. Anyway. But it's always, listen, they are,
Great charities
yes,
to
the,
support.
the chaplaincy, the BCCA and BEST, all organizations that do great work for the people on the backstretch, without whom we wouldn't have jobs. You wouldn't be able to come here and enjoy this great game and enjoy Saratoga so much. And speaking of that, it is. I mean, this has got to be. I don't think it's possible to be nicer than it is outside
Today is so beautiful. It was a little bit chilly yesterday with all the rain, and it was overcast. But it stopped raining throughout the afternoon, which was great. And today it's just like cool, peaceful feeling, lovely. So I hope you're coming out to the track today because today's an awesome day.
It
for
is,
racing.
and it's supposed to be nice throughout the weekend. It's supposed to
Yeah.
rain late Sunday night and then into Monday, but next week so far looking very good. So hopefully we'll close out with a bang. And of course, Travers Day on Saturday needs no introduction. And Sovereignty, the Derby winner, will be facing off against some new cast of characters in there, including Magnitude. We'll see how that plays out. We got a lot of racing to talk about today. We are off the turf in races 2 and 5 today.
Yep.
Race 4 moved to the inner turf. The other 2 are on the Mellon turf. In case you're wondering, all turf sprints are run in the Mellon turf, so those races are both turf sprints. Head over to Naira Bets. We got a lot to talk about this morning. SPA 200. Use the promo code, and we will match for $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, any time through Naira Bets. We've got the Friday contest. You know the drill. $40 feed-in to the $300 contest Saturday. If you don't do the feeder, you don't qualify. You can always play for $300. All of it's done through Naira Bets. Get more information at nairabets.com/contests. And this is big news. This is not the only contest we'll be talking about today. 10% exacta bonus. Hit an exacta. Opt in for that over at Naira Bets as well. We have, is this the cross country? Eddie's favorite thing, 2 at Horseshoe, 3 here, including the Albany, where Train the Trainer firmly did he have a minor injury? Was he something? I know he scratched.
I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, he scratched. He
Yeah.
would have been the favorite and the horse to beat in there. And this is the big news. It's back.
Ooh.
The low roller contest every Sunday and Thursday, $40 buy-in, 30 for the bankroll, 10 towards the prize pool. Head on over to the 4-Star Dave near the Miller Time Sports Bar. We did not get to do this last year, but it is back. Ray and Jay,
Ray and Jay are excited, I bet.
they're the best, those guys, really. I mean, both good friends of mine and terrific guys. Head on over there and mess around with Jay. You know, he likes to be tickled, actually. So
no.
I encourage you to head over and give him a nice tickle. $30 bankroll, $10 prize pool. Do you know Jay?
Not well.
Jay's my man. Do you know what Jay likes it when you see him? If he says anything to you, respond with "Shut up, Boggs." It's an old joke, but a good joke. Anyway, what else do we have? And I am happy that's back. I mean, that's a lot of people have asked me about that last year and this year.
It is
so we're
great.
glad that we got him back. Taste of New York Pavilion, Thursday to Sunday, 12 to 5. No better day than today to go on over craft beers, wines, canned cocktails, etc. All stuff made in the state of New York, the great state of New York. We've got a giveaway, the tote bag giveaway. Is that like a tie-dyed tote bag?
I believe so.
Really?
Paula Duca was right, actually. That's nice, to use your groceries or you go to the farmer's market or
I'm
something.
getting one. I see
Yeah.
that. I take my Naira Bets tote bag to the Fairway in New York.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm probably one of the few shoppers with a Naira Bets
Naira Bets
tote
tote
bag.
bag.
And Fairway's a great place, you
I
know.
love
It's
Fairway.
the original Fairway is actually across from the Beacon Theater. There it is. Johnny's got one. You want to throw it
Ah.
over here?
Cool.
We've got a tote bag right here. Just come on, just get a little camera time. Look
No.
at this. Keisha will model the tote bag when we're done. There it is. Looking good. I like that.
It's very nice. Yeah. Nice little handles.
Bring that to Fairway
Yeah.
and get your groceries. You might run into Trey Anastasio. I've seen Trey at Fairway in New York. There's nothing better than seeing rock stars at the supermarket in New York City and nobody cares. Fox FS2 for the show today. FS2 1 to 5, 5 to 6:30, and FS1. You on with me early or late?
I'm late today.
You are late. They're keeping us apart.
Yes.
Okay, that's how it is. We were on together yesterday.
Yes, we are.
All right, race number 1. Straka.
I like
Horse to beat.
Straka.
I agree. I picked her second, and I agree with you. She's the horse to beat.
Yeah. Came off of a layoff last time. It seemed like that was a day over Belmont at the Big A where you did the closers were maybe struggling a little bit. The pace kind of held together. They went 2-1 around, and I thought that she tried as hard as she possibly could, just finished third in there, and certainly should move forward second off the layoff. I should have known you were going to pick Dennis Laumann again.
Well, I have to give this horse another chance. And by the way, I have no problem with somebody that says, Andy, you're on your own on this one, and I get it, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about Accelerated News, who is the morning line favorite. And as you look here,
impressive.
she was very impressive. She was 4 wide in the pace the whole way and drew off like a good thing. Here's a stat. I'm not sure if you saw this one or not, Acacia. Off a win, Melanie Giddings is 1 for 28 with a 27-cent ROI, including 1 for 16 on the dirt.
Wow.
So getting these horses to reproduce these efforts have not been something she has done, particularly in the past. And he is kind of the last, or she is the last time was the time. But listen, she ran last time.
She did. I had liked her. I thought that she was a horse who was trying the dirt for the first time, and she just really made the best impression against that field. She's got to step up and face winners for the first time, and she was dominant. But that stat is interesting, and I guess it does kind of make sense. You know, you think a lot about the 2-year-olds or horses that are kind of geared up to win early here, and it is tough. It's tough when you win any race because then you have to come back and face the next level and the next start.
This isn't. I'm not trying to knock Melody. Stats are what they are. The fact is that off of wins is one of the lowest. You look at percentage stats for trainers. There are not a lot of trainers that have great numbers off wins. Linda Rice does, but a lot of trainers do not. It's very tough because, as you say, they're frequently moving up. As far as Farmhouse, I have made a lot of money with Dennis Laumann with his claims over the years. So you just have to either say, I'm not interested in this pick, Andy. I get it. This horse is too slow to win. It was a weird claim by Dennis to begin with.
Yeah.
She was in it with a much better field last time, and she did have some trouble. She broke slow. She got steadied in there. She didn't run quite as badly as it may look. She's going to have to run better. I've done well off the claim for him. I've done well second off the claim, so I'm going to ride the Farmhouse for one more race. Because the interesting thing is Dennis didn't drop this horse off that race. He still found a race where she's not in for a tag. It's like he wants to give her a shot. I've done too well with him in the past to not lose a little more money on this horse. So this is just one of these things, and I can understand if somebody says to me, Andy, that's just a ridiculous pick. I have no interest. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But I'm betting here.
She does get blinkers on, which I think should help her. She was really revved up prior to that race last time out. And like you said, facing better. Despo's Dream came back with an 82 Beyer speed figure. She's been in great form.
I agree. We'll see what happens in race number 1. Race number 2. I changed my picks late. David Aragona was telling me about, and Nick Tamero also told me about this, that both the 10 apparently has been working very well relative to these horses. I think in this field for Will Walden, who seems extremely live, he is 0 for 8. That's turf. Forget about that. It is weird he entered the horse in the turf and Instagram. And I got to say, is $30,000 the least money that Larry Best has ever spent for a horse?
It's very possible.
It's got to be the cheapest purchase he's ever made.
I watched some of her workouts, and I did think that she had some knee action to her, and so that was my guess as to why she was running on the turf, because there really isn't any turf pedigree. But Instagram does have a couple of winners on the turf, but I think most of the progeny has been better on the dirt. There is more dirt pedigree in there as well, but yeah, she seems like she has just been training with a lot of enthusiasm. I just thought the way that she moved maybe down the road to try the turf, but it looks like she's training well coming in.
My problem with Birch Run is what happened to her last time. She was awful.
She was. I always thought that she was one that would appreciate more distance. I had written
7
down,
furlongs today, by the way.
Yeah, 7 furlongs, and obviously it is a little kind of gradual step as to what she would be doing. I do wish that she would have gotten to go to the mile and a 16th on the turf today. But as you mentioned, 7 furlongs on the main. But she's a horse that just the way that she moves, the way that she's put together, I did think a touch longer would suit. She was terrible last time out. And Spitfire was kind of the one who had been facing Open Company coming into that restricted maiden race. It was a little bit wide open. I wanted to give her, I feel like it's kind of like you in the first race. I just wanted to give her one more try because I had liked her 2 back.
Well, her race 2 back was very good.
Yeah.
I mean, if she runs this race from 2 back, she's the horse to beat, depending on the firsters, which include the 6, Urtiqua. Was a very strange horse for Todd. In for a tag, a filly for Shadwell.
I know.
I guess they have no interest in keeping her as a broodmare, which I'm sure they have a pretty strong broodmare band. And I know, obviously they sort of winnowed down their horses a bit. And I guess in for 75,000. It's not quite the 100, but it's kind of like Todd's daring somebody. You want to claim this horse?
Yeah.
She's got turf pedigree.
She does, which is why I was a little bit concerned about her running on the dirt today. And I watched her last work, and she just looked to me like she was really built much more like a turf horse by Essential Quality. To be fair, none of the Essential Qualities have been turf horses. The only winners have been on dirt, but the bottom side is all turf.
I also feel like Essentiality, not that I'm expecting to be a vibrant turf sire, but you never really know.
I feel like they should be able to handle it, though,
Yeah.
at least by tap it.
But on the other hand, they're probably going to want more distance.
Yes,
So I'm not sure
definitely.
I want to, I think a lot of these kind of stallions, you don't want to condemn them early because
Absolutely.
they're more distance types and they're running in shorter races. What about the one 2x2x2 who was bad last time? But it was a much tougher field for Brad, and I wouldn't give up on her completely.
I know. She took some money in there. I did not like her at all in the paddock in that race. And of course, Iron Orchard controlled the race and won by open lengths in there. I was actually more intrigued by her getting onto the turf. There's so much unknown in here, and they do keep her in, and she does technically drop in class for her second start. Hopefully she will have gotten something out of that debut race.
All right, we'll see what happens in race number 2. Race number 3 is the Fleet Indian. I was a big fan of Fleet Indian. She was originally trained by Jimmy Toner. Todd Pletcher ended up with her.
We should do something one day about how many stakes in New York are named after Jimmy Toner trainees.
It's incredible.
It is amazing.
I don't think it's possible there's anybody even close.
Yeah,
Because
it
of
has
all
to
of
be.
those Phillips horses,
Yeah.
the plenty of great, all those horses, Memories of Silver, all
Yeah.
her progeny. And Jimmy, just a terrific man. And I'm sorry not to see Jimmy around here very
know.
often. He's really. I remember once. We called Jimmy and asked him if he would come on the show. This is early days of the show. I don't even know if you were working with us yet at Belmont. And he was like home like a half hour away, and he was there within an hour to
That's
come
so
on the
cool.
air. He's such
I
a
love that.
good guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good people in racing, and Jimmy Toner up there with any of them. So we'll take a look at K-Cup. And I think the question of this race is, do you want K-Cup stretching out, a horse that has run big figures, that probably is the most talented horse in the race, or do you want the horses to come out of the New York Oaks, and who do you want out of that race as far as the trips they had? I put her second like you did.
I think you and I kind of saw this race the same way. Could K-Cup win? Absolutely. It's just that going from the 7 furlongs to the mile and an eighth is a jump, and there's not really much to trust in this field as far as getting the distance is concerned, where at least with the fillies coming out of the New York Oaks, Lottie Margaret, the winner that day, the mile and 16th is the 2 turns. She showed that she could handle a little bit more ground already. She kind of has a bit more foundation. And also, K-Cup is coming in off a little bit of a freshening since that Bowery win. She's good. I just felt at a potentially short price that she was a little bit tough to trust as far as getting the distance.
Yeah, I don't know if I want the Instagrams going this far. It's a little bit of a question mark there. And as far as New York Oaks, it's an interesting question of trips. And I don't have the absolute answer to it because we'll show the start of the rate where Lottie Margaret completely and totally blows the break.
Yeah.
And, the fact that she's able to win after that is a feather in her cap. Having said that, Manny gave her a sensational
Excellent
ride
ride.
after they never left the fence. She saved all the ground. And Viamente, the 2, and the 5, Valtellina were both wide, 2 to 4 wide, 3 wide on both turns. And that in tight 3/16, which we'll show, that was legit. Look at Viamente is really steadying between horses. Now, I think Valtellina has really improved for Ray, and I think she's very dangerous. I don't have a strong opinion who's best, but I ended up going to Lottie Margaret just because she might be the one that has the most upside.
I completely agree. I saw this the same way. I know that Viamente, who's finishing there on her outside lead, she does switch late. That's very normal for her. That's kind of always how she's been. She actually ran Viamente better that day than I had anticipated initially going in there. And she was the favorite that day, and I know that she's been in good form, but I would have never trusted her going longer, and she
I
ran
agree.
better than I thought that day as well.
She's in great form for
She
Joe,
is,
and
yeah.
I think I know her figure's lower, but I think her effort was closer than maybe it
Yep.
looks. Though she probably is a little bit better going shorter. I won't be surprised if any of the 2, 3, 4, or 5 win this race. To be honest with you, were you a little upset that you didn't go to the New York Derby this year like last year?
We had so much fun last year, though. I mean, obviously it's more fun when you win, but we did.
Always more fun when you win.
Always more fun. We did the party bus from
Oh, that's
Saratoga
right. I forgot about that.
to
For
Finger
Pandagate.
Lakes,
Pandagate.
and then Pandagate won the New York Derby, and then it hailed, and they canceled the last race. The sky turned black. And so, like, there was a delay. We had to wait. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to get out. And then there were 2 party buses of our group. We didn't fit in the winner's circle. We
2
had to do it
party
on
buses to
the track.
Rochester from
Yeah,
Saratoga
I think it was the
on a
most
dark day
people
for your Derby.
in the Finger Lakes
Guys
winner's
think I'm
circle
nuts?
ever. It was so much fun, though.
Yes, I heard it was a great trip. I heard it was lots of fun. And that is the Fleet Indian. We'll run the Albany a little later today, though Train the Trainer, unfortunately, not going to play. Race number 4 at a mile and a 16th has been moved to the Mellon Turf, which
To the inner.
It's also, I'm sorry, to the inner. It should be noted that both the inner and the Mellon, the rails are at 0 for the first time in a bunch of weeks here. You know, the last time the inner went to the rails down, the track played fairly.
Yeah.
The Mellon, when the rails were at 0, it played fairly. Doesn't mean it won't be different, but it is something to keep an eye on because when the rails come down, it can end up creating an inside bias. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen. It won't be helpful to me if it is. We'll talk about the logical Mr. Tonic and Out of Waterbury. This is a race from July 20th. Last time for Mr. Tonic, 2 back for Out of Waterbury. Out of Waterbury picks up Flavian Pratt out of this race. You know, Mr. Tonic can win. I just feel like he gets such good trips in his race, and he's not sort of sealing the deal. And I just thought there were more interesting horses, but he's probably the horse to beat.
He is the horse to beat. I mean, he always runs. He's run quick figures. He comes from off of it. Mo Trump wired the field last time out, and he just really took to the turf. And he did regress in his subsequent start, but again, facing some tougher company. And Mr. Tonic ran on to finish second, and second 2 starts back, and a similar kind of effort in there. And yeah, he's one of those horses that I put second because that's where he seems to be kind of picking up those pieces.
I agree. Now, I am very interested as well as you in the horse, the 2 New Matthew, and we'll show his 1 turf race last year. Lost to George Briggs, who has the potential to be a pretty good New York bred 3-year-old. And he didn't have a bad trip, but he did seem, he's between horses in that green cap, seemed a little hesitant to go inside between horses, didn't he?
I totally agree. It did seem too like he maybe wasn't the most comfortable in there, and then when he gets a little bit more clear running, then he kind of kicks on a bit more there in the green cap. I think George Briggs, who's not run that much, he's only had 3 starts. He won the off the
Unfortunately,
turf.
won on last week off the turf.
Off the turf. But I think that he's very good. He had bad luck down at Gulfstream as well. So it's only 1 turf start for New Matthew, and despite the fact that he's by Flatter, he actually does have turf pedigree. And I thought he ran well against a big field and what could be a pretty decent quality field
No,
that day.
I agree with you. I think he's very interesting in here. And the 65s for 2-year-olds turn into 80s routinely. So I don't mind that the figure was low in there. Mo Crisa is dangerous off the claim for Mark Hennig because he could be in a position to lead the field on a Mary Chase. And I think if you're playing multis, to leave out the likely speed is a mistake.
I agree.
So I wouldn't want to let the horse beat me. As far as Ortis,
Ortis.
well, at least one of us is loyal to Susan Harris.
No,
I think this is an
loved
embarrassing
this
moment for
horse.
you that you've turned on Susan. But here I am, Susan, supporting you, even though Acacia has turned on.
Susan knows I adore her.
Susan is a wonderful person.
Yes, she is.
Will she be here for Ortis today?
I don't know,
I'd love to see
actually.
her.
I
She's
don't know
great.
her.
You know, this horse, I know it was Gulfstream and they were lower level races, but this horse was running figures down at Gulfstream, which make it competitive. And this horse got an unusually bad trip, I thought, last time out in that race, and is a better horse than that suggests. And the figures are good enough to compete, is going to be a decent price in here. So I took Ortis here for Susan.
I like it.
All
gonna
right.
be a price.
I'm betting on Ortis in race
Good luck.
number 4. I'll need it. Race number 5 kicks off the pick 6. We'll take a break after race number 5. And this, of course, the last off the turf race today in the card. And I think Pan Pan's very logical. You know, if Pan Pan just had the first start and not the last
Yeah.
one, I'd really like him in here because
know.
she's very,
Her,
or her,
yes.
excuse me, she's very logical in here. I thought she ran well in her first start. I put her second, but I think she's the one to beat.
No, I think that she's logical too. She did take a little bit of a step forward getting onto the turf last time, but gets blinkers. I thought first time out she didn't look 100% fit either, and she was kind of chasing Iron Orchard that day. But she's one that I think is kind of gradually improving with starts for John Ortiz.
You know, and I ended up with the 5 because she's going to be a big price. And she basically, if you look at speed figures, if you look at the buyer figures, she ran pretty much the same number as the 11.
Yeah.
And she got a better
She faced
time
a
form
very
number. She
tough field too.
picks up Ricardo Santana. She ran against Tommy Joe. Tennessee Bell came back with a nice performance last time out. And I just thought she might be a little bit interesting in this race off. I don't think her first race was that bad, and she figures to be a price, so I put her on top.
Yeah, she's interesting. The 11 Beach of Dreams, who wasn't also eligible, not a main track only, but she did run at Ellis, finishing second. She actually broke on top in there, so I wonder if they're going to try to be a bit more aggressive with her in here.
I just didn't like that horse that beat her last time.
No,
thought
I
she was
agree. I agree.
really,
But
really
there's a
weak.
lot of unknowns in here.
No,
Yeah.
there's, you know, it is. I mean, Fonzie Angel, you have third in here, a horse that I thought was interesting. I have the 2 horse that didn't do any running at a big price in there, but I'm going to bet the 5 and use the 4 and a little 11. We good?
All right.
All right.
Sounds
See what
good.
happens in race 5. We'll take a break. Keisha and I will be back with the late pick 5 after a quick message.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Keisha Clement and Andy Serling. Race number 6 at 6 furlongs. And this race, it's got a lot of unknowns, to say the least. You have gone to the number 4, Sparkling Mama for Thomas Coutinho. Should be forward.
I think so too. Did actually break a little bit slow from the rail first time out, but then kind of moved up to be part of the early pace in there. Second best behind Spitfire, who again had experience. Salt Princess comes out of that race as well. She was kind of on the bubble for me, but I do like that Flavian Pratt stays. This is a filly who has some pedigree. She's a Vacoma. It only sold for $5,000.
Got bet first
but
time out.
she got bet. She'd been working well. I thought there was a little bit of room for improvement.
No, I have no argument with it at all. I didn't use the worst, but I could certainly see it. I think she was my infamous 5th pick in the year. Jetty's home. We'll take a look at her last race, and I know it was a sloppy track, but she ran last time. And if she can duplicate this effort on a dry track, she's the worst to beat, I think.
She was a big price. She was a private purchase out of there. Jose Delgado, previous trainer, also owned her, excuse me, in that start as well. She broke a touch slow. The winner wired the field that day, but she is a horse that I think has kind of 2 solid races to come in. She's arguably too big a price in there as well, given the experience that she did have. I did look up the stat. Safi Joseph, first off the trainer switch with 2-year-old maidens, 3 for 17, 18% winning, 35% in the money, and $1 for ROI. So I thought that was a little bit interesting, but she's obviously a logical player.
Yeah, she's just a sort of logical horse. I think as is Wonder Woman, the horse that you have second, I have on top. It's a horse I liked last time out. I think Tariq Mubarak has done a good job looking at
With
his
a
numbers.
limited number of starters, done very well with 2-year-olds.
And this horse didn't break that sharply. I thought ran well to finish third in there, ran a fast enough race, and it's not like there's sexy connections that are going to take a ton of money, so I thought would be a decent enough price. What about the 12? The trainer switched to Jenna. Jenna's having a very good meet.
She is. This filly, she was off slow and just seemed like she was kind of in the back, just not comfortable. But it's interesting. She did work her on the turf 2 back, which I was guessing it was kind of to figure out as she is by War of Will, and there is a little bit of turf pedigree. The dam was a turf horse, but in her last workout, she was easily best to College Hunk, who's an older male. He's nothing special, but he is an older horse. So I did think that that was a little bit of a plus.
Romero's riding this
Yes.
horse. Javier's first call was on Wonder Woman
Yeah.
in this race. What about the firsters? Anybody to talk about?
I thought the one, Donna
Yep.
Romano, by Bo Liam, who's been off to a strong start. This one, there's some decent pedigree in the first generation. Been down at Belmont, so I couldn't watch any of the workouts, but does come in for Brad Cox, and thought that this one was a little bit intriguing as well.
Yeah, no, I have the horse second on it. Total guess, maybe Kerry Bryant's horse, Margarita Molly. Could be a little bit interesting as well. See what happens in race number 6. Race number 7, we are on the turf going 5.5 furlongs. And listen, she doesn't have to win, but Fast Market, if you bet her last time, and we'll also watch Sonia Henney, who actually didn't run badly in there as well, but Fast Market, the 4, anyway, Fast Market ran very, very
She
well.
did.
I know the race kind of fell apart a little bit, but it's rare that you see Joelle steady. So she gets in significant trouble to see Joelle sort of steady back in here behind the trees. You're going to see the other horse come over,
Then
Sonia
right
Henney.
here, she's trying to run up on heels, and he's struggling to keep her settled. She's just, for a sprint race, there was a lot happening for
And
her.
the winner really ran in here and was a heavy favorite. And I'm not sure it wouldn't have been much, much closer if Fast Market had had a clean trip. It's her first time sprinting. She had shown some ability in the past. And I think she's going to take a lot of beating in here.
I agree. I had an opinion with the 12, but I thought Fast Market was incredibly logical. She ended up kind of being second best in there, but again, given the trouble, even here still, she doesn't look like she's even going to be in the picture. Then she really kind of accelerates. She
Yep.
swaps leads several times, but she was kicking on, and I think she does overcome a lot again in just 5.5 furlongs.
I agree. We'll show your horse, the 12.
Yeah.
We're going to show that replay, Eddie, when you get to it. She comes out of a very tough race on the dirt last time out. I just hate betting horses that run well in the dirt, even if she has turf pedigree, and it's going to get bet off of dirt form in the turf race. I just hate doing it.
I know, but I had written down first time out that I wanted to vet her coming back on the turf the next time. And she does have turf pedigree. She's the full sister to Agate Road, who's grade 2 place, one on the grass. Half to Gasoline, who was a dirt router, but then she's also the full to Plentitude, who was better on the turf. So kind of with this quality road line, they do seem to be better on the grass. And it's funny, I remember I was talking about her in the paddock last time, and then in the next race, I went back and Mark Cassie looked at me and he said, I think you're right. I think turf next time. And I said, I'll be really interested to see that. And
So if she runs badly, he's going to blame you.
no, she has the pedigree for it.
And her dam was trained by your late father-in-law, won her first start impressively, and then
Yeah.
won the Frizette in her second start. She never really panned out, but she's a
she's
decent
precocious.
broodmare. What about DJ Jazzy, a horse that we've left out, a Chad Brown, Luke de Vega? His numbers, I looked 3-year-old first-time stars in turf sprints, just 3 for 19,
Yeah.
$1.60
I love those
ROI,
turf sprints
0 for
numbers.
3 in Saratoga. It just doesn't seem like the ones that he runs in the turf sprints are his best horses. Let's talk about some other horses here. I've got Get Back Loretta, mostly because I love the song Get Back by the Beatles, but also because it's Al Stahl. And this horse does not have a lot of turf pedigree, but I find Al to be very, very dangerous. And I know David made this one 15-1, but I feel like Al shipped this horse here. He had a turf sprinter first time last year that got bet off the board that should have won, got a ridiculous trip, and then won at Kentucky
it was
Downs
the
like
one
2 weeks
horse.
later.
I can't
It's the
remember
last
her
race
name.
of the day, I
yes,
think.
and she had been working really well and working in company with a horse that had won like the week before.
Oh,
or
that horse should
something
have
like
won,
that.
got a
Yeah.
disastrous ride, and then went to
I
Kentucky
know.
Downs
I
and
looked
won
at
the
this
next
filly
start.
for a long time. I watched her turf workout back on July 14th, and she was working inside Darty Time, who's not much horse, but this filly, Get Back Loretta, was really going nicely on the grass. There were so many other horses that I was intrigued by in this race that I left her off, but I agree. She's interesting.
I couldn't live with myself if Al won with a first-time starter
know.
like this, and I didn't include anywhere. I think Shades of Jade is dangerous. This
Yeah.
horse broke slow in there.
Be So
Kinda
Spicy is
dropped
pretty
out.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this horse ran okay last time. I think Shades of Jade is very dangerous in here.
And Phil Antonacci's been having a really strong meet. Gellhorn finally gets to run on the turf. She ran in that race last time where it was the end of the Diana card, and it just started pouring,
Yep.
and the sky turned black right before that race. And they'd been keen to get her onto the onto the turf, so it kind of came off last minute in
But
there.
she picks up Irad.
I
and
know, so
she's
she's
got
gonna
good
take a
dirt
lot of
form,
money.
And, listen, I'm not going to be shocked if she runs well in here. It's just not my cup of tea at a short
get it.
price in here off of Dirt Race picking up Irad. We'll see what happens in race number 7. Race number 8. I think Catherine Wheel is the horse to beat. I have her second. You have her third. And we'll take a look at her running second last time. I don't think she really wants the full mile and an eighth. I think the cut back to a mile. And, for a horse that sort of took a while to get going, she's finally got her act together, and she's actually pretty legit.
She has. She's been running fast figures. She's such a grinder. She's really kind of even paced, and so I'm guessing that was in large part why they tried stretching her out to the mile and an eighth, and she ran on second best behind Standout Sensation, who was impressive winning that day. But I do like the cutback in distance for her, too. I think that should suit her well, and she has the tactical speed to kind of put herself in the right kind of position.
You've got Lemon Muffin on top. We'll take a look at her winning in the slop at Churchill 3 races back, and she's obviously a horse that was trained by now the late Wayne Lucas. And Rudy Brissett's taken over, and she's obviously got races that can win in here.
She does. I know that she is a bit of a wild card. She's had a little bit of a layoff. Rudy taking over. She's been training over at Ellis. She is a deep closing time type typically. But one thing I will say is that last time out at Churchill, she had a little bit of an odd trip where she kind of made a middle move to the lead. And she's had some strong works. Flavian Pratt aboard. I'm wondering if she's not going to be quite so far back today.
Yeah, I don't think she's supposed to be that far back.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, that's why I took Cali Magic. I like these horses claimed by Fernando Abreu. I think
agree.
does a fabulous job. Picks up Irad, and Irad's just supposed to put her on the lead, and I'm going to hope she can wire the field today. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
What do you do with Cupid's Heart? I mean, I'm kind of getting
poor
tired
Cupid's
of her.
Heart. I know.
Her mile race, by the way, was exceptional. Because it was a big
She's
rail day, and
very
she was
good.
wide.
She's very good. It's just getting out of the gate has been such a bad issue for her, and it has been like that for her
day
whole
one, her
life.
entire career.
I think it has been a little bit worse lately. They tried in the John Stone last time out. Jeez. Always the bugs here. They tried in the Johnstone last time.
There's always one.
There's always one. To have no handler in the gate, so it was just her in the
That worked
starting
well.
gate, and the same thing happened. So
Yeah,
I'm
she's
sure
nobody's.
it's incredibly
She's
frustrating
nobody's
for
fault.
Bruce.
She's not.
Yeah.
She's not Bruce's fault. She's not the
No.
gate crew's fault.
I know.
She just doesn't want to break, and
I
it's
know.
frustrating. And she ran very well two back, so
Yeah.
it's hard to sort of condemn her. I do wonder at some point if it's just sort of
She
taking
didn't
a
run well
toll
last
on her.
time.
But
Yeah.
one thing about it is she's finally putting some races together. But
I know.
she did
She's
not run
staying
well
on the
last
track.
time.
Yeah.
Even though slow pace, we'll see.
Yeah.
She's not impossible, but she always takes money, and she's just her own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Race number 9 obviously changed the Albany, presented by the Albany Distilling Company, with the scratch of Train the Trainer. And I respect it, the post, who has a lot of speed and should be the main speed here. But we'll look at Iron Dome. The concern with Iron Dome is she's coming back. He ran 22 days after his prior start,
Yeah.
and now he's coming back in just 2 weeks after that race. But he has been very, very impressive for Steve.
Since they stretched him out to the mile and an eighth, and since he's been more forward as well, I mean, his last 2 races have been dazzling. He's a horse that I think even when Train the Trainer was supposed to be in here, he was likely to just kind of sit right off of him and see if he can take him every step of the way as well. He is the half-brother to Mr. Buff, one of the coolest New York breds to have run around here. And, I mean, he's kind of living up to that now with the mile and an eighth wins.
Yeah, and I'm not going to try to beat the 6 with anybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, Just Licorice, a little bit of an interesting claim, though I don't know why they paid $75,000 for him. My guess is if they waited, Linda would have dropped him in for 30, but maybe they wanted to run him in Albany, and that's the reason. He's not impossible to get a piece of this. Listen, he gets second, he gets 20 of it back, or 40 of it back, but I don't know.
I will give credit to Hit the Post in the New York Derby. I mean,
Thought he ran
Christopher
well.
Elliott tried, and he took it to Train the Trainer. He did everything he possibly could. He was just second best in there, but
And he legitimized the last
ran very
race.
well.
No, I
He did.
agree. He legitimized the prior race. You could say, oh, this horse just freaked out in a sloppy track.
Yeah.
Not true. This horse ran very well last
Agreed.
time, and he's not impossible to win this race.
Agreed.
We'll see what happens in the Albany one last year by Pandagate, you mentioned. How did he run his return?
He
Did he run
finished
at all?
4th.
Okay.
It was off of a big
It was a tough
layoff.
race.
It was, big comeback for him, open company. Long-term goal is that Empire Classic.
At the
in fall.
end of October at Aqueduct.
Yeah.
Race number 10. You know, there's only 2 more Belmont at the Big A meets potentially
know.
left. Oh, potentially. It's hard to know for sure. Race number 10.
It's exciting.
You've got a bunch of horses coming out of the 5th race on July 18th, and we'll show No Ordinary Love and Garden of Grace, who finished 2nd and 3rd in the race. I thought they both ran well.
They did.
I thought they both had very good trips
They
in here,
did.
though.
One last knock, who I think you like a little bit more,
Finished
was the
5th.
one, finished 5th and did set the pace, and everybody kind of came closing late. I did think that Garden of Grace kind of re-engaged when No Ordinary Love came alongside. It looked to me like she was kind of trying to get in a little bit, but Garden of Grace, I think, is one that mentally is kind of been a work in progress. And so I wanted to give her one more chance because I really liked her last time at a price. But I remember I had seen her schooling before that maiden race, and she was just losing the plot schooling. And I know they've put a lot of work into her, keep her settled. So I wanted to give her one more chance.
I have no problem with either one of the 3 and 9. The 2 and 9, they're extremely logical. I like to go to the horse who had speed.
Yeah.
Because this was a first-time star for Carrie Bryant. It was
She's a
25 to
huge
1.
price.
She dueled with Ultra Cameo, who's coming off a big effort. Ultra Cameo ends up finishing 12 and a half lengths behind her. I thought she ran a very credible race. She'll be a better price, and I'm just a sucker for horses like this.
I get it.
It's as simple as
I
that.
actually thought all things together, 25 to 1, she did not run that
But
badly.
she ran very well in there, and we'll see what the speed looks like in here, or if she's even really a big speed today. A lot of these horses, they just need that first start.
Some first
So I'm
starters.
going to take her. You've got her second. I think we saw this race pretty similarly.
Agreed.
All right, Keisha, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. A gorgeous day here in Saratoga. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend as well. The highs are supposed to be in the low 80s at the most, no humidity. It's just, we've still got 10 days left in Saratoga and a lot of good racing to come. And obviously that Travers Day, no better day than that. The entire meeting, head over to Naira Bets. The best way to play all of the races everywhere is to play them through Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPA200. And we will match up $200 of your initial deposit. We have a Friday contest feeder, $40 today to qualify for the $300 contest. Excuse me, that's on Friday. You have until post time tomorrow, and if you don't qualify or you don't play, you can always put in for the $300. Play through Naira Bets, Naira Bets only, nairabets.com/contests. We have a $10% exacta bonus, an exacta Saratoga. I'm sure it's capped. Check all the information at Naira Bets. I already opted in. We have a cross-country Big 5, 2 at Horseshoe Indy, 3 here, starts 4:14 roughly. And they're back. The Jay and Ray Show. $40 buy-in, a $30 bankroll, $10 prize pool. Be nice to Ray, insult Jay. That's the way you have to. You can. I tell you what. I might pay it like a couple dollars your entry fee if you make Jay cry. And it's easy to make him cry.
Poor
He's
Jay.
He's just that guy.
I got your back, Jay.
Jay is a good man. Absolutely. Been friends with Jay for a long time. All right. What else do we have? Taste New York Pavilion, 12 to 5. By Gate A in the Family Zone. All that great stuff made in New York. Check it out. Lots of good stuff happening over there. The tote bag giveaway. How can you not want the psychedelic tote bag? You can pick up your psychedelics with your psychedelic tote bag.
Yeah.
There it is. Keisha doing a little model. It's like the
Does
Home Shopping Network here.
Look how nice it looks next to Andy.
I will be carrying that
very
to Fairway. I'm
chic.
going to be the envy of Fairway
Yeah,
carrying that.
I
I'm
agree.
telling you right now.
It's great. Take it to the farmer's
It's most
market.
time. I'm already the envy of Fairway.
Yeah,
Let's face it.
let's
Fairway's
be real.
let me tell you something. Fairway's a rough spot. You better be prepared to hold your ground
have
at
to
Fairway.
muscle your
yeah,
way through.
There's no
Yes.
fooling around at the Upper West Side Fairway, I'll tell you that. And last but not least, we are on from 1 to 5 on FS2 and 5 to 6:30 on FS1, covering all the action today. Case will be on late. I will be on early. John Kakamis will be in the camera and we'll be in the booth the entire day. We're done. Frank
forever.
Miramati is getting ready. In about 15 minutes, he'll read you the reprise, the scratches and changes. Have a wonderful day here in Saratoga.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.